everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and it's time for a little bit of a different kind of video. For me, this would be right at home on the Doug Zeef YouTube channel, but I've already stolen so much from him I'm not going to back out now. So, I want to make a second season of Deck Swap, and all I need from you is $10,000. That's going to cover a $9,900 appearance fee for Farfa, whom otherwise would not sign on to the project, and a $100 copyright fee for stealing all this shit from Doug. No, I need your ideas. I need help with the minutia of Deck Swap Season 2. I really do think that a lot of the comments, especially early on, had great ideas, and I wanted to see the series out until its conclusion before I tried to implement them. So I'm going to talk about some things I may change for Deck Swap Season 2, and basically throw it to the crowd for some of the stuff like what decks you want to see, what slices you want on the wheel, what rule changes you want. So first and foremost, why am I doing Deck Swap Season 2? If you're new to the channel, usually the way a collaboration series will work for me is I'll think of an idea, we'll do it for 10 to 15 episodes, and then we will stop. Usually that coincides with the views massively dropping, but Deck Swap always had a prescribed beginning and end, first person to 20, and lasted, I think, a little longer than I would have liked. Because it had a prescribed end, any feedback I got and cool rule changes, I felt like I really couldn't implement until we ran it back. So I would like to try again with some changes from the audience. And as to why I want to do this instead of like bringing back Master Chef or Pitch Deck or God forbid Master of Faster, it's because I really liked it. I had a lot of fun. It was great to get together with everyone and film these, and I think it does have legs, but will need some massaging in order to get there. So enjoy this pre-made Google Slides template a la Zeef, and we'll get there together. So first and foremost, what were the problems with Deck Swap Season 1? Well, the number one was that there was no progression. It was shocking to me that people didn't know it was going to end at episode 20. Definitely could have made that a little clearer, or first 220 rather, including the people who were playing. In Saga, for instance, it feels like you are building towards the climax of the season all season, and then when you get there, you have these crazy decks that don't even remotely resemble what you started with. While the decks at the end of Deck Swap were functionally different than the ones at the beginning, episode 15 could have been episode 5, and nothing would have changed, right? The second is that the wheel got old. I think every slice on the wheel was spun, and the wheel categories kind of ended up in one of two places. Either read, totally fuck up the deck and ruin everything, or change functionally nothing. There were some that hit the sweet spot. I thought the 10 NR and the 3 SR were pretty good, but there's a lot I would want to get rid of, and a lot that served functionally no purpose at all. By the end of the series, I think we were almost totally numb to the concept of the wheel. And the third is that it was long as fuck. I think the sweet spot for a series like this is like 10 to 15 episodes, and this one went like 18, and the last couple were just like, oh my god, here we go. So I would like something a little more compact. So here are my ideas for Season 2. Rather than build around the four, like, archetypal, I guess I would say, elements in fire, water, wind, and earth, I'd like to build around the 4 summoning types. So that would be a deck that aims to perform a fusion summon, a deck that aims to synchro summon, a deck that aims to Xyz summon, and a deck that aims to pendulum summon. Now, these are interesting, I think, for a number of reasons. The first is it's way harder to fundamentally change the identity of them. Certainly that did happen in a lot of Deck Swap Season 1, but I would like to make it feel like these decks are this summoning type the whole time. And the second is, no matter what happens, it's going to be a shorter series. So let's talk about tweaks that I'm considering. I think in order to keep things fresh and in order to assuage some of the frustrations that were a result of the previous season, I would like to change like some specific things. Firstly, the crafts. Maybe there are limitations on what the crafts look like. Like, if you're playing the Pendulum deck, for instance, you can only craft Pendulum monsters or cards that specifically assist with Pendulum summoning, like Pendulum Call and stuff. Maybe if you are playing the Fusion deck, you can only play cards from Fusion archetypes or Fusion spells or cards that plus you when a fusion occurs or something. To prevent, like, an underpowered thing like fusion summoning from becoming slowly like an Xyz deck as, you know, the extra deck is modified here and there. The second, and this was like the number one piece of feedback I got that I really am resisting, is that the build occurs after the swap. So right now what happens is you build a deck, then you spin a wheel in order to cause the swap to occur. But a lot of people said instead what should happen is you should swap and then build the deck. Now, this makes it so that every week the deck is improving because there's no incentive to make the deck worse if you're about to play it. But I thought one cool differentiation between this and deck swap is that if everyone sort of collectively agrees a deck is too strong, they will take the teeth out of it and then may end up with a dog shit deck that they have kind of saddled everyone with. I think that Doug thing where he fucked up the deck like episode 3 was cool. There was like a hot potato for a little while. To be clear, if the building occurs after the swap, it is a fundamentally different show. And for that reason, I don't want to do it, but I'm willing to entertain kind of arguments for it. The third is that the winner gets some agency over the swap. So I think right now winning sucks. Like 2 spins on the wheel wasn't that fantastic. Maybe the winner gets like to spin a wheel that enables them influence over what happens during the swap. Like ignore one swap, or maybe one really crazy one is like you just get to pick the deck, or you get to swap again after everyone else, or something like that. Fewer people, maybe different people. While I love working with the Wonky Boys and Kevin, we are doing several shows together right now, and I do want it to feel at least a little bit varied. Importantly, if there are 3 people, you get this nice round robin effect. That's what's going on in Saga XL, even though it's 3 teams of 2, where you play everyone and everyone plays the same number of games. One weird part about the scoring of the first season was that it was individual games won, but one of the games was going to be tougher to win than the others. That's the final game because you're playing someone who has already won a game. Which means like you don't see every permutation. Some people have a harder bracket than others. I would be willing to hear either arguments for fewer or different people, or arguments for a different sort of bracketing system, so different people are playing different people every week. And then one thing I think would be cool on the wheel is to integrate the comments section into the actual gameplay. Like maybe one of them is like craft what the top comment says, and you know, people can try and comment some stupid horse shit that would ruin the series, you know. So here's where I need your help. Firstly, I want feedback. That is the most important thing. What do you think worked or didn't work about Deck Swap Season 1? What would you like to see fundamentally changed? And it can be anything. Like, obviously, I want to hear about, like, the specifics of the format, you know, how we metagamed, how we played for the format. But you can also say, like, personal criticisms. Like, Joseph, you should be less mean. Secondly, wheel slices. While I intended to keep the wheel slices pretty simple, I think it would be fun to have a lot of wheel slices that range from like craft 10 NRs to like really ridiculous shit. So if you all come up with any interesting ones, do let me know. I saw so many over the course of the last season that I didn't feel comfortable just shoving into the wheel near the end of the series. And the third is decks. What I'm looking for with respect to the decks are decks that adhere to a certain sort of archetypal summoning condition of fusion summoning, synchro summoning, Z summoning, pendulum summoning, but have the capacity to build more generically. Like, with respect to pendulum, Abyss Actor is probably not a great idea just because of the locks present on so many of those cards, right? Maybe like more generic builds that can be moved in different directions. And keep in mind that whatever archetypes you say, there's going to be like stupid staples in here. There's going to be like hints to go in different directions. And ideally, different people will be able to come to different understandings about what would be good for the future of the deck. So that's really all I have to say. I'm asking for your feedback, your ideas, and your innovation when it comes to Deck Swap Season 2. I have a fantastic time recording and making these, and I know the rest of the Wonky Boys do as well.